So there were some difficulties in classification. How we had certain difficulties in kingdom Plantae, which included all microbes. Even here, even in five kingdom concept, few organisms were not included under any category. So one is virus, the other is lichens. So let us see the characters of virus. So when you take virus, they are called obligate intracellular parasites. First you need to know what are parasites. Parasites, they are heterotrophic, which will totally rely on a host for nutrients. Intracellular meaning inside the cell, and obligate meaning without a host, it is considered just as a chemical. So viruses are obligate intracellular parasites. They can replicate only inside a living host cell. So this is how the virus attach to the host, any host cell, and they have certain receptors to attach. So they will just attach and see they are entering inside the cell. So you call this as invagination. Then you can see the third step, when the virus entering inside, they will just remove the genetic material alone. So why am I explaining this process is, you need to know a virus will have a genetic material. How our cell carry a DNA, similarly a virus will also have a genetic material. So they will remove the outer coat and only the genetic material is introduced inside. Then you can find the genetic material replicating. How do they replicate? They will utilize all the proteins of the cell and they replicate. You can find replication of virus here and complete assemble. Then you can find the virus rupturing the cell and they come out. So this is how normally when any form of virus enters into our body, even if a common cold, we get common cold, it is purely because of virus. So the virus will infect in this way and they grow rapidly and they rupture. This is how they will damage our host cell and they come out. So you call this as cell lysis. Structure of virus. So you need not to know about the complete structure. Basically a virus will be made up of a protein called capsid. So it will have an outer envelope. Any virus if you take, the virus will have an outer envelope. So this is the outer envelope. You can find, can you see the structure completely? So this is an example of HIV virus. So you can see the outer envelope. This is the outer covering which is made up of lipids and proteins. Okay. So this outer envelope is made up of a special protein called the capsid. So capsids are special protein and each capsid molecule are called capsomeres. So you just need to know only three structures right now. One is the envelope, which is the outer covering. Second is capsid, which is the outer protein covering. And third is capsomere. So capsomeres are each unit of capsid, you call it as capsomere. And this is the genetic material which is found inside the virus. So virus can carry RNA as a genetic material. So human will carry DNA. Similarly, virus carries RNA as the genetic material. Some virus or some bacteria, some viruses can also carry DNA as their genetic material. It can be single stranded, which means one strand, or it can be double strand. So you call it as single strand or you can call it as double strand. And these structures are called GP proteins. So in some viruses, the genome will not be responsible for causing an infection. Even this protein can cause infection. Okay, so you need to know all these structure. You know why so far you cannot find vaccine for HIV? So I told you we have certain difficulties in the classification because these viruses are not included under any of the kingdom Protista, Monera or fungi. Why? Because they exhibit a different category a character like they are either considered as living or non-living. Why? Because these viruses are considered as living only when they have a particular host to multiply. So without a host, they are just considered as a chemical. So we have certain types of viruses here: the plant virus, animal virus, fungal virus, and bacterial virus. Plant virus will normally carry RNA as their genome. Genome meaning either RNA or DNA. Example is tobacco mosaic virus. You can see in your textbook page number 20. So when you take tobacco mosaic virus, you can find the units of capsid, protein called capsid, and each unit is called as capsomeres. And you can also find RNA as their genome. Not only tobacco mosaic virus, we have other plant viruses like wilting rot of potato. It causes citrus canker. So these are certain other plant virus. Even cauliflower mosaic. We have many viruses. Coming to animal virus, which carry either DNA or RNA. Mostly DNA, sometimes RNA. So one example I showed you, HIV. Then fungal virus mostly carries RNA called as mycovirus. Myco meaning fungi. Then bacterial virus, any bacteria, any virus that feeds on bacteria, you call it as bacteriophages. Example T2, T4, T6, which is given in your textbook page number 20. So when you see the structure, it exactly looks like an insect carrying head, collar, sheet and a tail fiber. And we have three different characters called the virions, virioids and prions. So virion meaning an intact infective virus particle which is non-replicating outside a host. So virion meaning, I told you viruses are generally obligate parasites, which means they require a host to multiply. So virions these are certain category virus which are non-replicating outside a host. So in the environment they will not replicate. Virioids are a circular molecule of single-stranded RNA, SS meaning single-strand RNA, without a capsid. It infects plants mostly. Prions are, normally a virus should carry a DNA or RNA as their genome. But some viruses, they will not carry any DNA or RNA. Instead, their protein will act as an infectious particle. Okay, so this prions, it mostly infect our central nervous system, and especially it causes diseases, notable diseases in animals. So central nervous system is our brain and it causes a disease called encephalopathy. Encephalopathy meaning the outer layer of brain will be affected. You call that as encephalitis. So this is caused in the species called bovine and even some cattles. Okay. One more exceptional character is lichens. So we already know lichens exhibit symbiotic mode of nutrition, which means they occur within two different partners. They occur together and they benefit each other. One partner is the phycobiont. Phyco meaning algae and myco meaning fungi. So algae and fungi, they remain together in association. So algae being a phototropic, it provides food, whereas fungi, it's a heterotrophic. It depends on algae but provides shelter. Okay. And one more example is mycorrhiza. I already told you maybe in our previous classes, there are certain bacteria that fixes nitrogen, chemosynthetic bacteria. So there are certain bacteria which fixes nitrogen so that the plant can utilize. Why? Because though nitrogen is available 70% in the environment, 70 to 78%, that is not utilized by the plants directly. So they require the help of certain bacteria that are present in the soil. So those bacteria will live on certain roots. So those roots are called mycorrhiza. Okay, so these forms are not included under any of the classification because these characters are highly unique. So this is one difficulty that we face in five kingdom concept, as these categories doesn't come under any of the kingdom. So hope the concepts are clear. So if you got any doubts, you can raise your doubts either in the comment section. Thank you, children.